Hi, and welcome to the Carnivore Stories podcast with me, Alyssa Grubner. The carnivore way of eating completely changed my life, and it's stories just like the ones you'll hear on this podcast that encouraged me to keep going every step of the way. I hope you're ready to hear an inspirational carnivore story. I know I am, so let's get into it. Hello, and welcome to episode 4 of the Carnivore Stories podcast. Today, our guest is John Rossi, a 29-year-old music, photography, and film artist living in the Ridgewood neighborhood of Queens, New York. Welcome, John.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing very well. Thank you so much for having me on. It means a lot. This conversation is probably gonna get really crazy. I never thought I'd be here, to be honest with you, or to be in
Okay.
this kind of situation. So, but
Okay, well, I'm excited. I've
yeah,
been looking forward to it.
yeah, no, it's. I mean, I don't know if you want to just get right into it, but I battled with eating disorders for a really long time. I'm 29 now, like you just said. And at 22, I'll probably say is when I started to really get into my anorexia. So I was diagnosed with anorexia nervosa around 22, 23. I'm 5'11", can never break that 6 foot range, but I'm 5'11".
It's okay. You
Um,
can call it 6 foot. I won't tell anybody.
the funniest thing is when I have my ID, when I got my first ID, I was with my mom because we had like driver's test and all that. And she's like, I put down 5'11". She's like, you can put down 6 foot. I was like, no, I'm not a lie. Like, I don't want to lie. Like, I don't, but, but yeah, so I'm 5'11". I am probably around 155 pounds now. At my lowest weight, I was about 117.
Wow.
So I was very, very, very malnourished, and the lowest point of my weight, my life. Funny enough, how that coincides. Um, I was in New Orleans with my family. It was a family trip. It was me and my parents. My siblings weren't involved, but we were with like family and friends of ours, and I was in New Orleans in the middle of summer. So if you know anything about New Orleans, it's very hot down there. It's very humid, very much
Hmm.
in the middle of summer. And I was in a full length shirt, a flannel, a sweatshirt, leggings, and jeans, and I was freezing.
Oh my God.
And I was freezing, and like that's how malnourished I was, and like
Okay.
sickly, and well, whatever, skinny. And that was the lowest I again have ever been in my life, and with my weight. Um, and it was around that time where I started to actually get better professional help, and I got on board with the nutritionalist and everything like that, and I started obviously adding more weight back on. But my journey with food, with nutrition, with health, with everything has been going on for the last 8 years, 8 years or so. I mean, from everything from diet fads to, I'm at like 21 years old being super depressed, 22, and I was just in my early 20s being very depressed, and
Hmm.
finding ways to literally try to disappear. So I was very into food, very into health, nutrition, all that stuff. I mean, it's funny how diet falls under health and nutrition when it's literally, one of the worst things people, can do. And
Mm.
they don't know how to, they don't know what they're trying to obtain. A lot of times it's control. They don't feel like they can obtain the control in their life, so they're overeating or they're stress eating or they're this and that. And then it's the same exact thing with diet and trying to lose weight. You're trying to control your weight, and not doing that correctly or not doing that in the best mindset, you find yourself in these diet fads and all these things, and you're just getting obsessed with numbers. And, you know, I mean, I did every single diet known to man that I've known as a man.
What
Um,
was the worst?
it's, you know, it's really, I have to say, it's really funny because I cut out all meat. That was the first thing that went, was
Mm-hmm.
all meat. And I was a vegan for a really long time, but then I gained a lot of weight back, and I got healthier weight as a vegan. Um, when you're that compromised mentally and emotionally at that lowest point of my life, to try to, the idea of incorporating other foods was, I had so much, I had such minimum mental clarity and cognitive, like, you know, intuition, that if you were to say, John, just eat this chicken breast, I would have freaked out. I had to be like, I know this gonna sound crazy to so many people, but I still had to count calories. Probably the calorie counting was probably the worst diet, truthfully, but
Mm-hmm.
it was like I could only eat Subway. I could only, because I could, like, you know, calorie count everything on the sandwich. It's so silly. It's so stupid. Um, but and then I remember one day I put a bunch of weight back on. I got, you know, to a healthier weight, and I was pretty healthy. I was running. I was doing a lot of things. Um, Everything was getting back to a stable level. And I remember one day I was eating like a fake chicken, and I was living with my parents, I looked at my dad, and I was like, why don't I just eat regular chicken? I was like, right, like this, I was like, wait, why am I not eating chicken? Because I no longer, you know, feel certain ways, and I'm gonna eat the fake stuff. Why don't I just, what am I doing? What am I? So, like, I think that night my dad's like, get in the car. Like, we drove, like, you know what I mean? Like, we drove to the supermarket. He's like, we're gonna do it. And he made it. And it was like this weird thing. We like sat down. I was like, whoa. Cause at that point, like this was, you know, the journey was so obviously evident to my family, but it was so incorporated with every single person in my family. At some point, there was speeches I was making, because being a male, um, who clearly has no problem talking, forgive me if I'm just rambling. Um, but for a very personal, you know, like outgoing person who is fine speaking in front of people, it's very rare for someone like me to come down with anorexia, or so I've been told. And so I believed for a really long time. But you know, everyone at some point was incorporated in my family, because it was very openly talked about and very openly discussed. And we're very tight in family. So once I told that to my dad, it was so funny, because he's like, get in the car, we're going, we got chicken breast. And I just sat there, and he's like, how do you feel? And I was like, so swear to God, I go, it's a lot more chewing than I remember. And that was like the only, but I didn't feel bad. I didn't feel terrible. The anxiety was gone. And I honestly, that was probably about 4 years ago, probably 25. And I did that for a really long time. And I kind of found myself eating more chicken, eating more eggs, eating more fish. And then I was like, well, I feel great doing this. And I'm running, and my career is taking off. And I kind of was like, well, you know, I still don't know. I still have these anxiety inducing foods, red meat, for
Mhm.
whatever, you know. And a lot of times what comes with the mental issues of anorexia and the control is and I've been very open with this, my family and my friends, and you kind of pathologically lie. You're lying
Mm.
to yourself, you're lying to your friends, lying to your
Mm-hmm.
family. No, I'm eating. No, I'm not eating. It's almost competitive, and you're lying to people a lot. And I remember being like, no, I'm allergic to red meat. I'm allergic to like I have an allergy to red meat. And it's funny because I am lactose intolerant, and my dad has a wheat allergy, which is funny. I do not eat. I can't handle wheat for whatever reason, because it's whatever it is. If it wasn't in my system, all these things. If it's mental, it is what it is. I am healthy enough to say if it's mental, it's mental, and I just don't feel like going down that
Mm-hmm.
road right now. Um, but yeah, I don't handle wheat well with him. But this red meat thing is so funny because I was lying about something that I wanted so bad. And it was almost like the lie was in a way of myself telling myself, like, oh, don't worry about it. Or like, oh, like, you can't have it anyway. You can't have it anyway. And, still living like 90% vegan with a little bit of, giant salad. And we're talking like giant salads, bowls that were like for like a family sized portion of a salad is what I was
Mm-hmm.
eating like 3 times a day. And I can't tell you the amount of time that I've wasted just trying to eat this amount of food to feel satiated. And I kind of always was like eating these giant big bowls of food and then still being like, well, I'm still kind of hungry. And like 30 minutes later, like, eating like another head of celery. Um, do have to admit I'm a pretty big cardio freak. I love running. I actually do enjoy running, which is, I know a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people are like, I actually enjoy running. I like the challenge of it. I'm not a good runner. It's why I like the challenge of it. And I work out every day. I still find at least an hour every day, no matter if I'm filming or if I'm recording or playing a show. I still run or work out every day. Um, so I was like burning a lot of calories. I was always trying to like replenish with so much. I don't know if I can curse on here, but bullcrap. Just BS products, protein powders on
Mm-hmm.
protein powder, literally to the point of like eating protein powder because I was scared and anxious that I wasn't satiating myself properly. And then I was listening to a podcast with, I think, Paul Saladino. I don't remember who he was on, but he's just on Instagram. He's the Carnivore MD. And
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but I truly don't remember what it was, but I just said, you know what? I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try
Mm-hmm.
whatever, ground beef, whatever it is. Alyssa, I can't tell you the like, it was almost like, that's like childhood game of like the rectangle goes in the rectangle and it's like the circle. It was as if like immediately the everything just went in, and
Yep.
it was just like crazy like revelation that it was like, holy crap, wait a second, I'm okay right now, like I'm not hungry, like I
Mm-hmm.
have. It's like in the movie Step Brothers when they're like, we have so much room for activity. I was like, I have so much time to do what where's this coming from, like what. And I was still doing things, like I was still doing a lot of fruit too.
Mm-hmm.
um
About when was this?
Julie, this is like 2 months ago.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
All
no,
right,
and
cool.
but like the reason why, I'm sure there are people that have been on carnivore for years that will be on this podcast and will tell you, I thought it wasn't a bad idea for me to reach out because of the fact that, look, I was, eating disorders, anorexia, of the like bulimia,
Mm.
binge eating. I've had every single process. So if I can't, I always feel that like if I have this story and like this helps people because I've been told that it does, then I'll never shut this voice off, because I do feel that if people are watching this or they stumble upon this, and if my story can help anybody, then that due diligence, I have to talk about it, because
Yes.
someone's story saved my life. I don't think I have that power, but maybe my story can help put somebody in a better light. So
Absolutely.
I'm sure there are plenty of people out there that have a far better understanding of this diet, but my idea was like, this has been the best thing I've done for myself, mentally, emotionally, physically, in the last 8+ years.
Okay.
But
Yeah, that's the thing about carnivore. It's not like, oh, let's wait and see like 6 months, a year, 2 years down the road. I mean, the results are instant for a lot of people. It doesn't take long. It doesn't take long to start reaping the benefits for sure of nourishing your body.
yeah, I mean, it's funny because I would see people. Okay, so I work a lot within the vegan movement of New York,
Oh
which
yeah.
which in New York is pretty big.
Oh, I know. I
Yeah.
know.
So a lot of my friends, which is like, it's weird because I work on film sets a lot of times, and it's, a lot of times if we have crafty food out there, like, what do you want? And, you're like, well, what are we getting? A lot of times it's like, I'll bring my own food, or like, if we have to like put in meals, it's always, it's, it gets weird, and you have to kind of explain to people what steamed beef from a Chinese food store is, you know what I mean? Um, but but oh, what was it? I'm so sorry. What was it? Well, I was just working with the vegan movement. Um, I'm so sorry. I forget where I was going with this, but maybe I was trying to say, like, it is so funny because you talk to these people, and oh, this is what it was. I'm so sorry. So I would be talking to my friends that are vegans, and I love these people. A lot of them are such great people, and they're truly genuine and nice, and everyone thinks that they're doing the right thing.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm sure so many people are doing the right thing for them. Like, I knew that what I was doing 3 years ago was the right thing for me to do 3 years ago. You know what I mean? And that was when I was
Mm.
a vegan. That was the right thing for me to do 3 years ago. Now, this is the right thing for me.
Hmm.
And I respect that. I respect that of anybody, whatever they want to do. But for me, I'll talk to my friends and they're like, dude, you look great. Like, your hair is fuller, like your beard looks good, like you're stronger. And I have to sit there and just be like, yep, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. And I know
Tell
that
them it's the beef. Tell them it's
it's
the
so
beef.
hard. I just I have talked to some people, and I have been like, yeah, no, like I thought, like, it's weird because someone asked me like how do you feel, and I'm like, it's like hitting puberty for the second time, because
Mm,
I didn't have beef, red meat for honestly got almost 10 years.
okay.
And now that I have it, it's funny because I was doing meat and fruit for a while, and then that's a whole nother story. And then now I'm like I'm doing just strictly
Mm,
ground beef, burgers. I found a routine that works for me. Me trying to research this, I think a lot of people have the same question. Well, how much do I eat? That's
hmm.
like been like a lot of the same questions that I found on Reddit pages and interviews and podcasts. And what I can say to everybody is what everyone has been saying. They're like, just eat until you feel full.
Yeah.
Like, just eat until you feel good. Like, don't
Yeah.
worry about weight. Don't worry about anything. Just
Hmm.
eat till you feel. So I've done that. I don't know if it's too much red meat. I don't know if it's enough. Like, whatever it is, it feels good now.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
but
Listen to your body at all cost.
but
Yeah.
that's 100% thing where you're talking to people, and these conversations come up, and I kind of just have to like sit back and smirk and just be like, well, you could all feel this way too. But it is like the second coming of puberty, where I do feel like I'm on this like superfood. It's very odd, but like if I could feel this good, like I know what it's like to go to bed saying, "Don't worry, you'll eat tomorrow," and knowing that's
Mm-hmm.
a lie to yourself.
Mm.
I know what it's like to go to bed and say, "Oh my God, I ate way too much. Why did I just binge eat thousands of calories at night? I need to purge this. I'm not going to
Mm-hmm.
eat tomorrow. I'm going to run 10 miles tomorrow to
Mm.
burn. I'm going to," and I know exactly what it's like to wake up today after going to bed last night, eating and feeling great, waking up today and going, "Yeah, you know what? I'm going to try to see if I can lift a little bit heavier today." And I lifted a little heavier today.
Mm-hmm.
And then I still was able to get back, do my work, eat it, like, and it's the like inflammation of my mind, the swelling of from anxiety and poor diet is the greatest blessing I've given myself. And I'm not sitting here saying like, because I know that might sound weird if you're trying to correlate like, well, he eats beef and now he feels fine. No, but if you're coming from the point of view that I have of anxiety eating, stress eating,
Mm-hmm.
eating disorders, bulimia, anorexia, binge eating, if you're coming from that point of view, and I've done every diet on in that point of view, and the one thing that broke the cycle was introducing beef, you should probably listen. And I'm never going to
Yeah.
tell anybody to listen to me, but maybe just do a little bit of research into this because it's kind of scary in a way that it is so evident. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I was gonna say you're in New York. I'm sure the vegan propaganda is strong.
When your mayor is a vegan,
Yeah, yes.
yeah.
Yes. Having meatless days at public schools, and I mean that's crazy. Oh, and that people are trying so hard to dissuade people from beef. Don't eat that stuff. No, you don't need that's bad for you. And I've been there too, that I really thought red meat was gonna kill me. I've sat in a car with my grandfather after my grandma died of cancer, and we're in a Wendy's drive-through, and he's like, "Oh, you want something?" I was like, "No, red meat is a stage one carcinogen, and it kills people." And then to later find that on beef, I'm living my best life ever. Like this is like a movie. Like, have you ever seen Limitless?
No, no, like, yes, exactly. You're like, oh my God. Like, it is literally like I told you, I'm like, it is the second puberty and it's like a drug. Like, it's literally like a drug. Like, you not only is like your mental state better, your cognitive thinking,
Mhm.
but like just like I on this is just like I am far less of a I'll just say jerk. Like
Okay.
I'm far less a jerk. Like
I know what you wanted to say.
yeah, like I'm so far less a jerk. Like
Yeah.
very just energy, mood. Um,
Well, think about it. Think about a hungry animal before. Think about a hungry dog not getting what he needs, a hungry wolf. They're grouchy, you know, until they're fed, until they're properly fed.
yeah, and we have a thing in my family. It's called hangry.
Hmm.
That is like it's like a hereditary gene we pass down.
Okay.
Great. I got it 100%. I've
Yeah.
100%. I get hangry. I haven't been hangry since I've been doing this.
Yeah.
Like I don't
Yeah.
get I don't know whatever they call it, like glucose dopamine dips, and you know
Yes.
I'm not feeling guilty after if I'm like, wow, today I'm a little bit hungrier than or
Hmm.
more hungry than I was yesterday. Let me throw something else on. If if this was a year ago and I was like, I'm still hungry, let me eat a Quest bar, or like, I need this, I would eat it and be like, why did I do that? Oh my God, I'm terrible.
Yeah.
I'm so fat. And then it's just like this horrible, whether you believe in energy or healing or whatever, like I was holding this like energy, this like remorse, almost like this guilt on my body, on my mind, on my spirit, on my mental state, that I no longer have that luggage. I've shed that, like I metaphorically like shed that weight. Like I don't have that, like why, like that like depression that like, oh, I slipped up again. I did it, didn't I? Like, way to go, you dummy. Now I'm like, oh no, I needed that. That was great. Like, what are we doing next?
Yeah. 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 And, you know, I think it has a lot to do with, because I've struggled with binge eating, and I don't eat now. It's not even a thought that crosses my mind. I don't need to do this, but I feel like it came from me just not being properly nourished. And I would fill up on this food, fill up till I'm almost sick, you know? And the guilt, I feel like, would come because my body knew it still didn't get what it needed. But here I am, full, bloated, you know, ready to fall over. And I mean, it really is something, because, you know, if all the time, I'm like, oh, if I knew then what I know now. But, you know, people need to know that there's things in beef you're not going to find in plants, you're not going to find in any other meat, that we absolutely need for our brains to function right, for our bodies to function right. Especially, you know, saturated fat and cholesterol. It's funny you say you feel like a second puberty, because those are paramount. Those are so important for our sex hormones. You know, if you don't have the cholesterol, the saturated fat, you're not going to be producing the testosterone, the estrogen, the progesterone, you know, any of that. And it's so important.
If you know, I'm just gonna jump in, like, because that to me was like, no one likes to talk about this, you know, unless you're like I don't know, but to get into health class for a second here,
Yeah.
Being a vegan for that long was somewhat, like, I don't want to say detrimental, but it was difficult to get attracted to somebody or to get aroused
Okay.
something.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me going into this
No, not at all. Not at all.
because it is that thing of, you just like, you know, you don't want to fall into stereotypes, but looking at, just, you know what, talking stereotypically, and I'll only do it with me as the example. When I was eating a lot of vegetables, or if I was a vegan or whatever, I had no libido. I had, and you know, I'm not the type of person that I think people need to have tremendous libidos or eat. I don't like big ego. I don't fit well with those people. I just don't like them. I played sports my whole life. I was always, you put up or shut up. You don't talk a big game, you just play the game. You know what I mean? I never got along with people that are, you know, chauvinistic or showboating or anything like that. But the whole libido thing, or the whole, you know, testosterone or whatever, like, the fact that you don't realize you're missing it until it comes back.
Yeah, you know,
And
you
then,
can't.
yeah, it's not like, it's like you don't, what's the saying? You know, you don't know how good you had it until you lost it. Well, you can lose it and not even think about it until you get it back out. Like,
or how about this one cracked me up. I heard it the other day. You can't smell your house until you come back from vacation.
yeah, there you go. Yeah. Or like it's like going, you know, slowly. It's like slowly. It's like the frog in the water. It's like slowly boiling the frog. He'll stay there.
Yep.
Put him in the hot water, he jumps out. Well, being a you know, a vegan for so long was like, slowly you're losing a lot of things you don't realize. And then, and it sounds so stupid when you say it, but like introducing beef, that's it. It's all I've done. That is all I've done. I haven't introduced elk or bison or venison or all these like dangerous meats. Or I literally introduced from my supermarket, which I'm very blessed to have right by me, has grass finished and fed and all that, whatever. It's good meat, 80-20 ground beef. That's all I've done. And it was like a slow decline and then like a spike up. And you're like, oh my gosh, it has, you could take away all the precursors for procreation, if we're going to be, you know, not saying anything here. Even if you take away all that stuff, as a guy lifting weights, running, it that came back.
Yeah.
You know, separate, if you want to separate your brain from other things that take place with testosterone.
Well, it's all connected. It's all connected.
It is
really
all connected. It is, but like but maybe other people should know that it's not just a you know, the sexual part of the hormone,
right?
But
right.
it is like another part of it for yourself. Where the fact that I feel stronger, that I feel better about myself. I actually feel better about myself.
Yeah.
I actually don't care about as much about what I look like, but what I can do with myself. And that is, I never thought I would ever get back to a place where the mirror wasn't even a factor. The mirror for the last 10 years of my life has been this sworn enemy of mine. And it's not like a 180, like he's my best friend. Like I'm looking at myself like, damn, I'm just not even worried about it. You know what I mean? It's not even an issue. I don't care what I look like. I care about what I can do. And that all comes back within testosterone, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
I know I've been talking for a crazy amount of time. I'm so sorry. I hope you don't mind.
No, that's the point of the show. That's the point. Your carnivore story.
It's
yeah.
so weird. It is. I appreciate that. I really do. It's a really long-winded story, but it's a story that I hope more people find. Not selfishly. Like I hope people find within their life, you know, like, look, again, I fall into this category of people that truly believe this. If you find this self-worth and amazing feeling eating vegan, then by all means, go do it. God bless you. I'm happy you're happy. Truly. I'm happy you feel as good about yourself. Truly. But I can tell you right now that I went down that road and this is the best I've ever felt.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's because I've been vegetarian and vegan, and I remember being very deep into that. So when someone like a family member goes down that road, it's like inside him, like, yikes, you know, because I wish someone was like, hey, you know, let me tell you, these are the facts. At least be informed about what's actually taking place, not what, you know, they're showcasing everywhere you go these days, but this is what's actually taking place with your biology, eating this way. And you know, and so if someone brings up to me, I'm like, you know, I've been there and suffered that, you know, this is what what's that?
Been there, suffered that.
Yes.
That's
Been
good.
there,
That's
suffered that. Yeah. And I truly feel that I'm not gonna strong arm anyone into not doing it, not trying it. But I truly feel if you try it for long enough and you're not completely delusional, you're gonna say, something's just not right with this. You know, it may take some people longer than others. I know it took me a long time to realize how bad it was for me just because of my pride. And
yeah. It's look, when you're this is gonna sound really self-deprecating, but please understand that it's not meant to be insensitive to anybody. But when you're diagnosed with a high school girl's disease, that's what someone told me.
Yeah.
When you're 117 pounds and your knees are giving out just walking, and your teeth or gums are reciting, your hair's falling out, and you can't even look at your dad in the eye and speak honestly to him. Pride goes out the window for me. Where I'm one of the best lessons I've ever learned was my rock bottom. You know, this is my life, and I've been on other podcasts talking about my eating disorders. I've done, like I said, I've given speeches, I've spoken at conferences, I've helped people, I've been in retreat and in programs with people. And I tell them that, you know, not everyone has to do this, but this seems to help people, so I'm always going to do it. And yeah, I lied. I not even for pride or anything like that, but just because of the fact that I thought this is, you know, it is what my own illness, my own, you know, disability. But I know what you mean when you say pride and you think you're doing the right thing. I think that's what it is. I think people are truly, like I said, everyone truly thinks that they're doing the correct thing.
Yeah.
And that's what pride is, and that's what pride is, and you have to let that person feel that for themselves. I did say before, though, that I don't remember what the change was, but okay, so there have been like 3 moments in my life where I've hit a complete exhaustion, working out, overworking out, working on film sets for way too long, not sleeping, not eating well, you know, overstressed, you know, complete mental breakdowns. I've had 3 of them in the last 5 years.
Wow.
And the funny thing about all those 3, the way I recouped myself, or my rock bottom, was going to a supermarket and buying a rotisserie chicken and eating it immediately. And then the immediate breath of relief after. And I know that sounds so stupid. It could sound so stupid, but I don't know what it was, but I think that was the 3rd time it happened was a couple months ago, when I decided to do this carnivore idea. I was working on a film set. It was 16 days in a row, at least 10 hours, one 10-hour day. Every day besides that was a 12 to 14-hour day at least. And I wasn't sleeping. I was working out too much during, you know, whatever. I was not taking care of myself. And I remember calling my parents and just being like, "Hey, like I'm having a moment again." And like, well, where are you? And I'm like, I'm leaving my supermarket with 2 rotisserie chickens in my arms right now, and I'm eating it on the street like a homeless person. And that, I think, was the trigger in my brain that said, like, what is going on that when you get to the bottom of your barrel, the first thing you do is try to nourish yourself with food, with meat. Not with sweet potatoes, not with celery or lettuce or tomatoes,
or a bucket of ice cream.
A bucket of ice cream. not emotionally eating. Literally, like, I'm past the point of emotional eating. This is like survival, life and death. Like, what is it that you need right now? And it's like, I need substance. And at the time, the easiest thing to grab, because it's right there, is a rotisserie chicken. I'd eat the entire thing. And then I would breathe relief because I felt better. And I've had some really crazy days, some really crazy productions, but now that I'm eating beef, I don't ever get close to that point.
Yeah.
Not even do I ever not get close to that point. it's like I can do all that stuff and I can still exercise and I can still think and I can still create and I can still do. It is like you said, that drug, Limitless drug, or whatever, that movie with Bradley Cooper, where you're like, oh my God, I can do so much more while I'm doing it's. You're like, it's like gaining two other arms.
Yeah.
It's and I think it's why
Or another brain.
yeah, and why we laugh at it is because it almost seems silly.
Yeah, because it's so simple.
Yeah,
It's like duh.
yeah. Just do what it's like. It's kind of like, if like a certain species like only wears this and you're trying to like not wear that, and then you wear it and you're like, oh my God, it's like our species has been doing this forever.
Yeah.
And then we stop it. And then you're like, why is everything sucking so much? And
Yeah.
it's like, well, dummy, go back to what you've been doing.
Yep.
And we can get into the whole conversation too of like other things that our species has been doing that we've stopped doing or implemented other things. But like, this is truly one of those things where, what do they say? It's like there's a huge jump in evolution when humans discovered cooking meat. It's like we started cooking meat, and then it was like human evolution, and then it was like human evolution. That's right after we started doing it. And again, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, I don't have these studies or anything like that, but I do know that is, whether it's true in evolution or whether it's true in my life, I can tell you right now, it's true in my life. And that's good enough advice for me. And then, for me, whatever.
Yeah, you can't doubt your own experience. That's for sure.
And the same thing with you. If you have similar stories, if you feel the same exact way, you can't doubt that. And it's what I say about people that like I said, I'm never going to discourage anybody from doing what they think is best for themselves, as long as it's obviously, humane and not hurting anybody. So if you think that being a vegan is what you need to do in your life right now, then God bless you. All the power to you. I hope it works.
Yeah.
If you're asking my opinion, that's different.
But yeah, because I'll be pretty honest these days. Like, yeah, I'll tell you exactly in the sweetest way possible. So I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but I always start off by saying, well, in my unprofessional opinion.
Yeah, I had this talk with a buddy of mine because we got lunch and whatnot, and he's like, "What do you want?" He's like, "What do you want?" He's like, "You want?" So he goes, "You want salad?" I was like, "No." I was like, it's one of my best friends I've known for a really long time. He's like, "You want salad?" I was like, "No. I'm gonna get a burger." And he's like,
"Who are you?"
Yeah, I've known him for 6 years. You know what I mean? And this was like the first time we ate since, and I was like, "Yeah." We sitting down and eating, and he got a veggie burger. I got a regular burger, obviously no bun, no nothing. It was like 2 patties, some bacon, and a fried egg on top. And he got this veggie burger with like fried onion and this giant brioche bun and ketchup and all these things and French fries. And we literally sat there and talked, and we went over, and I was like, well, we got on topic of food, and he's like, well, what do you mean you feel better and you're eating healthier while you're eating red meat? And I went, I was like, look, first of all, stop, look at what I'm eating compared to what you're eating right now. And he's like, yeah, it's a veggie burger. And I'm like, but look at what you've done to it. Like,
it's like the blinders are on.
Yeah. It's like one of my favorite books is 1984 by George Orwell, and it's like,
oh yeah, my goodness, that's a good one.
You can call it whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
you can call it a healthy burger. Look at what it is. You know what I mean? It's like,
absolutely.
You can call ground beef death food. That's fine. I'm still gonna eat it because I know what it does. I know how it makes me feel.
Yeah.
A
rose would still smell as sweet, by any other name.
Yeah. It's like, you can go to Chili's and order from the Guiltless Grill. Their whole section of healthy, clean, lean. I think it would what was it? It was like clean, lean eating, the guiltless grill. And it
Uh-huh.
was, it was all these things. And it was like egg whites and this and that. And you're just like, man, as someone who fell into a lot of traps with food,
Yeah.
that's good bait.
Mm-hmm.
That's some great bait for people
Oh yeah.
like me that are that are dealing with brain inflammation and not don't have the cognitive incline to understand that these words aren't the substance. You
Mm-hmm.
can call it whatever you want to call it, but it is what it is. And
Yep.
you get that clarity when you actually realize that substance. So I do have those conversations with some people, and I don't hold my breath too much these days anymore. I
Mm-hmm.
do. If you want to look at me and what I'm eating, if you're going to stare at me and question it, I will openly talk to you about all this stuff. But
Yeah.
um, like I said, I have a lot of friends in this movement, so if I want to try to keep them,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I try to just
Mm-hmm.
I get invited to a lot of vegan potlucks, and it's really
Oh
funny
boy.
because I get there and they're like, "What are you gonna have?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'll just hang out. Like, get water. Water's fine." Cut to like, if this was a movie, it'd be like 15 minutes beforehand, and I'm just like sitting at Starbucks eating a steak that I cooked
Yeah.
myself or something before I go there, just so I can, enjoy my friends, because again, they're delightful people, but we just don't see eye to eye on things, and you have to be respectful of that and
Mm-hmm.
people's opinions. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, these days it's crazy. I feel like your diet is like the new religion. Like people get offended, and it shouldn't be that big of a deal. You should be able to talk freely about, hey, actually, let's talk about what really constitutes a healthy diet, and
Yeah.
um okay, so you're all meat at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. I was
Yeah.
doing the meat and the fruit for a while.
Okay.
Um, Quick anecdote with that. I ordered food from my supermarket, like Instacart, and I ordered 3 bundles of bananas.
Mm-hmm.
They sent me 3 boxes,
Oh my goodness.
15 bundles in a box.
Oh wow.
So I was able to like call my vegan friends and like give bananas away.
There
But
you
then
go.
I got stuck with a box of bananas. So I was freezing them, and then I was literally just eating at that point. Like my diet switched to like mostly bananas and a little bit of beef. And then it was like, and I got to the point where it's like, I don't even want to look at another banana ever
Mm,
again. So now I do 8-ounce patties of ground beef.
mm-hmm.
I I know since I'm weird, I get like 23 pounds of ground beef.
Oh
I do
good.
8-ounce patties and I put them in the freezer, and I do 3 at a time. I normally eat twice a day,
Mm-hmm.
and I literally just have 3 8-ounce patties I do that twice a day, and I
Oh
feel
perfect.
amazing.
Sweet and simple. Sweet and
That's
simple.
it.
Absolutely.
I definitely, spent enough time cooking and preparing and eating food
Oh
where I just literally want to spend at most 30 minutes if I have to cook and eat my food.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. When I was in the plant-based days, I remember for dinner, I would need to start prepping things, like sometimes the day before, but usually it was on a daily basis to get ready for dinner. I'm going to start chopping and preparing things at 2 o'clock. Like that's not natural, and it was causing me so much anxiety, so
Oh my
much
God.
stress.
Oh my God. I don't mean to cut you off. It feels good to talk to someone about this stuff a lot of time. Like, I don't know how these conversations with a lot of people, obviously,
Mhm.
but like, so we can just revel and just sit in that remembrance of the anxiety. And like, I don't know, how old you are, forgive me, but even if you have a
I'm
family.
28. I'm
Okay. So yeah.
28. Yeah.
So
I've
we're
got
the
a
same
husband
age.
and 2 kids.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. Kids are not my thing, but that's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I have a goddaughter who is the greatest thing in the world in my life. I love her to death, but that's as much as me and kids will ever get along. Uh,
Okay.
but But with like me and my parents, when I was living at the house, it was like a contentious thing. Like my mom would be like, John, you can't take up like 4 feet of room here. Like you like, but like I know it sounds silly and like funny, but like I was so indoctrined into like this narcissistically driven ideology of like me and food that it was like, well, I'm eating better. Like it's so
Mhm.
stupid.
Yeah, I'm laughing because I've been there. I'm
Yeah,
laughing because I've totally been there. Like, no,
yeah.
I'm making my healthy black bean brownies and lentil puree
Oh
over
yeah.
basmati rice.
Oh yeah. And don't eat the applesauce. This is for my butter substitute. Okay.
Yeah.
Please. Like and like steaming things and
Oh,
poaching and eating and then just being like, well, what's next? And you're like, you just made this immaculate, like Picasso-esque like salad thing with zoodles
mm,
and flowers and all these hemp seeds, and you're like salt baying like
yeah, right.
pumpkin seeds, and you eat it in like 4 hours and you're just constantly great. It's funny how like when you look at other species of animals that eat plant-based,
Mhm.
they're grazing animals.
Yeah,
They're
yeah, it's an all day
constantly
thing.
eating. It's constant, constant,
Mhm.
constant, constant. And then you look at, you know, animals that are more a predator type or whatever you want to, there's
Mhm.
that whole lion diet, whatever you want to say, but
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, like, no, you go out when you're hungry, you eat.
yeah.
It's like you're done when you're done.
Make the kill, eat it,
Make the
go on
kill,
about
eat
your
it.
life.
And I totally like I do. If you want to talk about fasting or anything like that, like I was never I always hated breakfast in the morning. I love breakfast for dinner, but like I don't like eating in the morning. In the morning is like coffee, work. Again, like I work in a very creative field. So it's like the
Mhm.
first thing you do when you're just get out of that sleep state is I write music or I work on a screenplay or I work on my photography or I do something or I'm brainstorming for today's activity. And then I was like, okay, I got that creative endeavor done for the morning. Now I'm going to stew on that while I go lift weights or if I go for a run,
Mm.
and then I come back and I eat, and it's like it's so funny because it's it is that like it's a great relationship when you really home it in for yourself. Again, this is totally selfish and narcissistic. If you got a kid, if you're taking care of somebody, if you I make arts and crafts for a living. You know what I mean? Like there are other people out there that are like teachers and they gotta do that's fine. Do whatever you gotta do. But for me, this works and but it's that once you're in tune with your rhythm and the food and everything, it almost just like you don't have to put together this puzzle. It kind of falls into place for yourself. And
Mhm.
it's just that weird thing of like the rectangle going to the rectangle hole. Like things just start falling into place themselves. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna work out because I have energy where I don't have these spikes in energy. It's kind of all lasting all day. And if I'm eating now, I can eat later. I can wait till much. These great. It's this. It is a veil, you know,
Mhm.
without meat or it's a definite veil in front of your eyes that we put up, and it's not like the veil is this beautiful thing that we're getting distracted by. The beautiful thing is in front of us and we put this white wall in front of us for some reason,
Mhm.
you know. I hope that makes sense, that analogy, but
No, it makes sense. It does make sense to me. I'm sure it makes sense to everyone else too. Um, okay, so you're fairly new
okay,
to
sorry. Yeah,
carnivore.
yeah.
No, it's okay. I'm enjoying this
Totally
conversation so
derailed
much.
whatever your itinerary was for this. I just derailed
It's
it.
all right. Um, have you had any issues adapting? Are you having any like any low blood sugar, or some people get diarrhea, some people are constipated, some people have nausea? Because I know that coming from a heavy vegetable diet, you're not going to have the stomach acid to digest, or some people won't
Yeah.
have the stomach acids to digest the fat in the meat
I
as
tell you right,
well.
yeah, I tell you right now, we've already talked about the sexy parts of the diet.
Uh-huh.
The unsexy parts of the diet are definitely don't have red meat for 10 years and then put it into your system. You're going to have issues.
Hmm.
Yeah, diarrhea, it was bad for the first week or two. Um, I'm lactose intolerant, like I said. Um, or so I just don't digest it, whether or not that's real or not, whatever. I just don't digest it. I feel very inflamed the next morning.
Hmm.
But okay, on two fronts. On that whole front too, like yesterday, this is kind of sound crazy, but I was walking home and I said, yogurt makes me feel very inflamed or whatever.
Mm.
I was like, why do I really want to try cottage cheese? I don't know why. I feel like I'm in a Seinfeld skit. I was like, I don't know why, but I really want to try it. I just got cottage cheese and I tried it last night and I woke up this morning and I didn't like the way I felt. I felt very puffy and inflamed and it I just it's not for me. I don't think dairy is for me. I've tried to incorporate ghee for a while. Same kind of thing,
Mm.
constipation. And this is all going to what you were asking. I definitely felt constipated. I definitely felt stomach issues, bloated, hard. Dairy doesn't do it for me. It doesn't work for me. I definitely hit that keto flu type
Hmm.
symptoms where I felt very nauseous like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Um, or I say 2 weeks ago, but really it's when I stopped eating fruit. So it's longer than that. Um, I definitely got very nauseous one night in particular, and like I had like this not the spins, but like when you get like I haven't been drunk in a very long time, but like I was almost drunk, like my brain was spinning, like I was very
Mm.
nauseous, I was very disorientated at night, and that was honestly for like 1.5, maybe one day.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah, I haven't had any symptoms since. I haven't had the only symptoms I ever have with my bowel movements are with when I try to incorporate some kind of dairy or cheese. And that's just because a cheeseburger looks so much better than a regular burger. And
Hmm.
I get jealous. I don't know why. I really just want a cheeseburger, but it doesn't work with me. So I just have to live with it. Um, until I forget how it makes me feel. And then I'm like, let's give it another shot, John.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm recently discovering that I have some issues with dairy. It was causing me to have some issues with the skin on my elbows. And then if I ate a lot of cheese, I would kind of get this itchy feeling in the back of my throat. I love this stuff, though. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
So I'm going without dairy for a time. But when it's holiday season, I can say, all right, well, I know what it's going to do to me, but I
Yeah.
I kind of want it anyways. At.
Yeah. I know what you mean. That's funny. I haven't realized anything with my skin, which I guess I'm blessed. I really haven't had any. I mean, like again, when you have the two extremes of the two lives that I've been living, it could be much worse. It really could be
Hmm.
much worse. I could have had a lot more difficulties, but I think my body was so lacking in those nutrients that as soon as I incorporated it, it was just like a sponge, just
Yeah.
literally sucked it up. And Alyssa, like it was night and day. Like I don't care about this anymore, but like I thinned out. I
Hmm.
looking better, feeling better. My skin looked better. My I was more muscular. My hair looked better. My beard grew better. Like my nails, my everything just like
Hmm.
got better. Nothing got worse, which is a
Yeah.
blessing, 100% a blessing.
Yeah, it's really cool because even though some people will have a really hard adaptation, there's always something else going on that's like way better. And they're like, well, I guess I'll put up with this because this other stuff is really awesome. And
Yeah.
that's how it was for me, because it took me a while to adapt. I think it took like 3 months for me to have regular stools again. And but I was kind of like, well, if this is how it's going to be for the rest of my life, it'll be cool, because all
Yeah.
these other things are
And I feel
way better.
like people like us, where we gone down the plant-based diet, like stools and bowel movements have never really been the best thing. So it's like, if this is if this is the worst part about this diet, game on, bring it on.
Yeah, yeah,
I'll take
that's
months of this.
exactly.
This ain't nothing. Trust me.
It's like the grand scale of the would you rather game.
But I can laugh at this because I feel like I have to laugh at this. It's like, I had a bulimia. Trust me, not the worst thing. This is
Yeah.
not the worst
Yeah.
thing. Like, I promise you, it could be so much worse. But no, I luckily, yeah, like again, like this is like the third month of my, my coming into this diet. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it's been like 5 months of like tiptoeing back into it.
Mhm.
So like now, like I don't have a lot of issues. Like I said, like just this morning when I was like, man, like I shouldn't have had that cheese. But I don't think cheese is bad for you. I think
Mhm.
I just had to find the right kind.
Mm.
And I won't give up yet. But yeah, that's the only issues I've had.
Okay. Yeah, I know that definitely if I have pasteurized dairy, it's going to give me issues like instantly, um like gastrointestinal issues. Raw dairy though, I don't feel any like immediate symptoms, but it does seem like raw cheese was still affecting the skin on my elbows.
Yeah.
And then I maybe or maybe not raw kefir was good to go, but I went ahead and nixed all the dairy just to kind of get a baseline of zero dairy.
I don't mean to interrupt you if you have another question for me there, but I've been researching like histamines and stuff like that, and they say that the fermented things are actual cause the most. Like I get inflamed. I
Okay.
have it, so it's
Okay.
like a histamine thing, which I believe.
Yeah.
Fermented dairy is weird, and I don't know where you live, but again, in New York, there's only one place in the entire state of New York that has the legal right to sell raw
Okay.
dairy. So it's
Okay.
very hard for me to get raw dairy.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm in Georgia, and it's
Right.
technically only legal for pets to consume.
Uh,
So
I won't tell anybody.
that's the loophole. And so it's funny because the milk I buy, it has a big sticker on there. It says not for human consumption, only for animals. Um, and
Yeah.
yeah, my daughter, she saw that. She's 8, and she's like, this says humans aren't supposed to drink it. I'm like, it's fine, baby. They just have to say that.
It's like Best Buy date. It doesn't really mean anything. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Um, but I want
Um,
have you had goat's milk? Like a
no, I
goat cheese?
haven't. No, I
I
haven't.
I've been looking at that. I want to try. Maybe it is just cow's milk that for whatever reason I have hard because a lot of people say that. Sorry, I live in Brooklyn. A lot of cars drive by. It gets loud. I hope you
Okay.
can hear that.
No, it's fine.
A lot of people that I've read have said that goat's milk, goat's cheese, sometimes works well with them.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try
Yeah.
that. That's probably gonna be the next thing I try.
So there is a difference between like A1 and A2 dairy. And I believe goat's milk is always A2 or most of the time A2, and that's supposed to be less inflammatory. Okay.
Wrap it around.
So yeah.
Sorry.
So have you have I know you said you've been eating ground beef, you've had the chicken. Have you had any big succulent juicy cuts of meat since you've been back, like a big ribeye or something
Yeah.
absolutely delicious?
Yes.
What's been your favorite?
Um, I actually really love flank steak, which is not the answer I wanted to give you because I just had a amazing ribeye that my brother-in-law gave me. It was like $40 for the steak. It was like this. It was amazing. I ate it yesterday.
Oh,
Great, and it was amazing. Um,
I need a brother-in-law like that.
yeah, it was a leftover. We had a later Fourth of July party, and he
Okay.
had come with all these steaks and everything, and he gave me one to take home, and it was amazing. But I had besides just ground beef being like my favorite thing right now because it's just so satiating. Flank steak with the bone and the marrow,
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm.
man, did not think that that would be as desirable as it has been. Um, that is almost like a superfood in itself,
Mm.
where if you grill up a flank steak, like for some reason, like I don't know if a lot of people know what it looks like. It's literally the cow's calf. So there's a calf bone and the meat is around it. And I don't have a grill in my Brooklyn studio. So I have like
Mm-hmm.
a cast iron. I put on the cast iron and I grill on both sides. And then like the it's like a gelatin kind of marrow, like fatty, just puddle. And
Mm.
I either put that on the eggs or I'll put that on it is, or like honestly, I've like literally scooped it out like an egg yolk and eaten that straight. And that is almost like a warm hug, if that makes sense. Like it is like you
It does.
feel it go
Yes.
in. It's one of those things where you feel it go in and it's just like
Yeah.
wow, like that
Mm-hmm.
was good. So that is, I
Nice.
could tell anybody like secret, like it's super cheap flank steak. It's just bone marrow with gelatin. It's I almost feel it like hitting my bones and making me stronger.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice. That sounds delicious.
it's so good.
It's almost dinner time here, so I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah, 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 yeah,
um, okay, so can you see yourself staying carnivore, meat-based long term?
yeah, yeah. Um, it doesn't make sense to not do it at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like I used to have these things where I would call them like F off Friday, and I would like cheat meal every Friday. And it was this idea that I had where I'd be like starving or like eat lean, eat good, eat, broccoli and sweet potato and chicken breast, broccoli. And then like a Friday would come and I'd be like
Mm-hmm.
going to like my protein bar and be like just gluttony, gluttony,
Yeah.
just gluttony. And then now, like, I've only F off Friday once, and it was with my dad, and we were at a ball game, and we were put up in a suite. Long story, we were put up in a suite, and they had free hamburger sliders, and it was a Friday, and I looked at my dad, and we were just like popping them like Skittles. It was great, like, and I truly think that like if I'm ever gonna let loose a little bit and like indulge myself, it's never going to be with this like fake keto
Mm-hmm.
healthy protein bar smoothie, this that blah 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 blah. It'll be like, yeah, let's go barbecue, or let's go, it's like it's going to be in that way. For some, for no odd reason, actually. It's not an odd reason. I don't feel the need to ever look for something else.
Mm-hmm.
I realized that that's what I was doing. I was looking for something else to satiate me quickly. I don't need to do that anymore. This diet is great. The only thing I'd ever see myself like ever reindulging in is like blueberries, because sometimes I really miss
Mm-hmm.
blueberries.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
And that's
Mike.
it. Like the only other craving I ever have are like blueberries.
Okay. Yeah, my grandpa, he's got a blueberry tree. And so I go and pick the blueberries for him every year. And I remember last year when I first started carnivore, I was like, okay, well, next summer when I pick the blueberries, I'm going to eat them. I might try a couple when
Yeah.
they're ready to harvest. Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, I'm not. And the other thing is, like, if I was a vegan, I'd be like, so like the temptation would scare me. I'd be like, oh my god, I
Mhm.
want to have that, but I can't have that. Why? I want it, but I can't.
Yeah.
Not letting myself. Now
Yeah.
I'm
Don't even let that
blueberry.
touch my vegetables.
Yes. Like the other, like, okay, here we go. At that 4th of July party at my sister's place, I not gonna lie, I had a blueberry. There was a blueberry
Yeah.
on the antipasto. I'm Italian. We had like an
Uh-huh.
antipasto plate, and there was like, strawberries, blueberries, grapes, and there was just like one blueberry. I was just like not thinking. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
blueberry. Oh, cool. Like
Uh-huh.
no fear, no anxiety, no regret, no guilt, no gluttony, it just
Yeah.
whatever. So if
Yeah.
I ever indulge, it'll be in like a small handful of blueberries.
Mhm.
And I don't think I even will. I'm just saying maybe that
Yeah.
was like the only thing.
Yeah. And then I think it goes also with like listening to your body. If you're smelling a fragrant piece of fruit and your mouth is just watering and it's like, oh, I really want that. I don't think someone should not have it unless they're deathly allergic of
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah,
Um,
yes.
Go ahead.
No, I'm wasting too much of your time. Yeah, no,
Okay.
I feel that way. Yes.
Yeah. So my last question I have for you is, what advice would you give someone thinking about carnivore or just trying it out?
Be gentle.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm not coming from a typical person. I'm not coming from, someone who's just like, maybe I should try to lose weight, or I'm
Mm-hmm.
coming from somebody who has who has had and has had a long history of terrible food disordered eating and
Right.
disordered eating. Be gentle. Um, Understand that you won't die, and understand that if you've made it to the point where you're thinking about it, you owe it to yourself to go through with it.
Yeah. At least give it a try.
And that's with and truly that to me was with everything in life. Like if you're thinking about it and you've gotten to the point where you're really considering it, if you're listening to this for this long, if you made it this long and you're truly enjoy what I'm saying, like forgive me, but if you're resonating with me, and if I have any power over anything that you do in your life, be gentle with yourself, take care of yourself, and if you've made it this far, just maybe try it. You'll probably you'll learn something, and
Mm-hmm.
regardless if it's what you think you need to know or what you want to know, just try it.
Yeah. Great advice. Absolutely great advice. Well, John, this has been so great. It has been
Really
such a
hope.
pleasure. It's been such a pleasure meeting you and talking with you. You are a great person, and I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited because you're going to stick to this and it's only going to get better. It's good now. It's only going to get better. It keeps getting better. And it's, yeah, the
I really
best is
appreciate
yet to
that.
come.
Thank you so much for letting me ramble and whatnot. I do appreciate it. Thanks for giving me this platform. I do look forward to getting better. You are a great person as well. You have a lovely personality. I cannot wait to hear more people be on here and share similar stories. And like you said, it's almost dinner time. I think I'm going to go to the market and go grab some goat cheese and see how
All right.
that
All
goes.
right. Well, I hope to hear how that turns out for you.
Um,
And if anyone wants to connect with you, can they find you on Instagram?
please, yeah.
Yeah.
If anyone,
So that,
seriously though, like if anyone ever needs to talk about anything that I've talked about, any struggles that they're going with, by all means, I will answer and talk to you. You're not alone. So by all means, reach out.
okay. And so John's on Instagram at John, John Rossi, Rossi, Sees, Sees.
Clever name.
Yeah, good
Clever name
job.
for Instagram. I see things, I take their photos, and I post them.
Yes, good job. Good job. All right. Have a great rest of your evening.
Yes, you as well.
Yeah, I
Thank
will do. And I will see you around Instagram.
you. Got it.
All right. Take care.
Thank you.
That's it
bye-bye.
for today. Until next time, stay meaty, stay strong, and stay inspired. Do you have a carnivore story to tell? Connect with me on Instagram at meet, M-E-A-T, Mrs. M-R-S, Grubs, Grubs, and I will add you to the list. I would love to interview you, and the world needs to know that meat heals.